In this lecture, we will explain another visualization which may be useful when you need to make some filters on specific fields. You can of course make filters through the filtering pane, but this will be much easier. This visualization is called slicer. You can select it from the visualization pane and simply select slicer. If you want to make filtering by country, you can select the slicer and go to country, drag and drop here. All the countries list are displayed in this slicer. You can select any country, for example Algeria. You will find that all the visualizations in this page will be filtered on the selected country. Instead of selecting all countries, now you select only one country. This is Algeria, and its total number of cases is 37k cases, and its total number of recovered cases 26k. The total number of deaths is 1333. To improve the view of this slicer and in order to take less area of this page, we can go to this arrow in the top right of this slicer and select this drop down menu. You will find that you have two selections. Either you select a list or select a drop down. If you select a drop down, you can minimize this slicer. Now you can select it by country. Just select this drop down menu and select the country you need. You will find all the visualization are now filtered on the selected country. To return back, select on this country again. You will return back to the original view. And this slicer now has a very small area. You can add many slicers in this view as you wish to make all filters you need. To change the format of this slicer, just select this slicer and go to the Format tab. You will find here all the needed fields you may need to format. For example, this is the selection controls. You can make it as a single select or multi-select. For single select, you can only select one value, like this. If you want to make it a multi-select, just disable it and multi-select with control. Here is a general format, like the outline color, outline weight, and so on. You can add some titles, add some borders. You can modify the shape of this slicer. You can modify the slicer header format. This is the font color. And this is the background color. You can change the background color or the font color as needed. We can change the background color here. You can change the outline. It's right or bottom or top or anything. You can modify the text size. You can modify the font family. And you can revert to default if you don't need these changes. You can also modify the item selection or this the items in this menu. You can modify the font size, the background, the text size, the font family. You can add a title to this slicer. You can add a background. You can remove or add borders or shadows or any visual format. You can add another slicer with the same format. For example, you can go to this slicer, select it, and select Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. And you can modify the field. You can remove country and add continent. So you can here filter by continent. Just select any continent, Africa. You will find all other visualizations are filtered on the selected continent. You can deselect it to return to the original view. To synchronize the selection of this slicer over other pages, for example, here if you select any particular country or continent For example, if you select Angola, when you go to other pages, you will find that other pages are not filtered on the filter you selected. If you want to make synchronize for these filters, you can go to View tab and Show Panes group and select Sync Slicer. A new pane will appear here called Sync Slicer. You can select the slicer you need to synchronize over other pages, and you can select here which page you want to synchronize with, what you want to make visible, and what you want to synchronize. If we select page 3 to synchronize and sync, and go to page 3, you will find that the selected country is Angola. All the visualizations here are filtered on Angola. When you go back to page 2 and select a country and deselect Angola, select all, and you go back to the other page, you will find that the filter is deselected. So by using Sync Slicer pane, you can make this slicer particular to each page, or you can make it across the whole report. Thank you, and see you in the next lecture.